Toasted. Welcome to our kitchen. I'm the penguin.
And I'm the chef. And we're here today to bring you some more recipes. Today we'll be making our restaurant style Mexican rice and refried beans. Okay guys, here's our ingredients. We have some onion powder, some garlic powder, your favorite kind of hot sauce. We use yellow saffron rice, Vigo. I think that makes the best Mexican style rice. But you don't have to. I've used jasmine rice. I've used long grain white rice. We're going to be using our rice cooker today. That's why I like this yellow rice. I think it cooks the best in there. We have 1 pack of Sazon Goya. This is not salty, guys. It's not like using taco seasoning. It has a lot of flavor, but very little salt. I've got the amount of water I need. I have a big tablespoon of butter, and I have core tomato bouillon with chicken flavor. Now, if you don't have the core, that's okay. You can use a combination of tomato juice, which would be replacing your water because you want to keep the same amount of liquid in the recipe. You can use tomato juice with a chicken bouillon cube. You can use chicken broth if you have it, if you want to use, and like half of a little can of tomato paste. You just want that chicken flavor mixed with the tomato. You can cook this on top of the stove. You can use, like me, we're using a rice cooker. You could use an Instant Pot to cook it. Okay, let's get started. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to add our liquid. Like I said, you can just follow your basic instructions on your rice for the amount of liquid no matter what you're using. And then we're going to put in our rice. I'd wanted to make good beans and rice for a long time, and I tried, and I got close a couple times. But when me and the penguin met, she told me about her friends that owned a Mexican restaurant, and she already had some of their recipes and stuff. So I took the recipe they gave her, and I kind of tweaked it a little bit, and I got this. And it tastes really good. It's really close to what you get at a Mexican restaurant. It's a lot easier. And here's my package of Sazon.
To me, it's more flavorful.
Yeah. And now we're going to put in garlic powder, onion powder. I don't measure this out. I'm going to say probably a half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of garlic powder. The same goes on the onion powder. And then me, because I'm me, I always put just a couple of swigs of hot sauce in it. You can add, well, we've been to Mexican restaurants before, and they put a little onion in it. At one time, we went to a place that had peas and carrots in it, like you would get a fried rice, but it still tasted Mexican. So, like I said, there's no hard nailed down rule on it. This is the one thing you want to be careful of right here. If you're using the core, I think it's the easiest and it's best. It adds all the flavor you need, and it's simple to use, but it is also salty. It's the one thing in this recipe that's salty. So you want to be careful how much you use. 1 teaspoon and about half a teaspoon. Okay, while I was off camera, I added my 1 tablespoon of butter. And now I'm just going to stir it around to make sure all the seasoning gets mixed up. It's not in any clumps before it starts cooking. And I'm going to put it in my rice pot and set the timer for white rice. And it's just that simple. That's it. When it gets done, you're going to have Mexican style rice. And it's going to taste really close, if not better. We think ours tastes better, of course. Our opinion, than what you get at the Mexican restaurants. And like I said, I've said it in all our videos. Try it once. If you like it, great. If you think it needs a little tweaking, add, take away. Use your favorite hot sauce. Like I said, you don't have to use the exact recipe we have to get what you want. Everybody likes things a little different. So I'm going to get this going, and we'll show you what it looks like when we come back. Okay, guys. While my rice is cooking, we're going to make our beans. And the nice thing about this is I make these in the microwave. It's really simple. I got black pepper. I got Badia pinto bean seasoning. You can get this at Walmart, Dollar Tree, Myers carries it. I got a can of the Great Value pinto beans. If you don't want to start out with whole pintos like this, you can go ahead and buy refried beans and then add the other stuff to it. But I like using from scratch the pinto beans. I think it tastes the best. I've got a little bit of mozzarella cheese. I got onion powder, garlic powder, and I still have my core tomato bouillon with chicken flavor. And we'll get started. Okay, guys, it's going to seem weird, but the first thing I'm going to do, like I said, since I'm just using regular old plain pinto beans, is I've cracked the lid on the can, and I'm going to save just a little bit of that bean juice. 1/3 of a cup to 1/4 of a cup. Now I'm going to take my can over to the sink, and I'm going to get rid of the rest of the juice. Okay, I've got just about 1/4 of a cup. We're going to set that to the side for the moment. I've drained my beans, not totally dry. I mean, until it come down to a drip in the sink. I'm going to empty all my beans into this microwave safe dish. Next, I'm going to use my core tomato with chicken. Like again, it's salty, so you don't want to use a whole lot. I'd say it's about 1/4 of a teaspoon. Put that in there. Our bean seasoning, again, I'm just going to sprinkle some in there. Usually, I use like, I don't know, 1/2 of a tablespoon worth. A little bit more than that. It's a little salty, but not real bad. Then we're going to add in our black pepper, just a few shakes, because I like that little bit of flavor that black pepper adds to it. And then the same with the onion powder and the garlic powder, probably 1/2 teaspoon or so of each of those into the beans. Now we're going to take this to our microwave. Well, I'm going to stir it up first. We're going to take this to our microwave and put it on for about a minute. Want to put a lid on this, of course, they'll explode in your microwave, so you want to put a cover over the top of it. I'm going to cook it for a minute. I'm going to stop it and shut it off. I'm going to start it up and let it cook for another minute. And when it gets done doing that, then I'm going to go back and I'm going to start mashing these beans up with this spoon. And I have a small whisk over here. And at that time, I'm going to start adding back in that bean juice to keep liquefying it more, and then we'll add in our cheese. So we'll be right back. Okay, guys, there's the beans after 2 minutes. You can see they're still kind of hard. They're not real mushy yet. I'm going to add in about 1/2 of this bean juice, and I'm going to stir it around, making a big shadow. Let's do it from this side. And I'm going to take that spoon and I'm going to start using it as a masher. Gets inside like that. Just keep pulling them around. Now, if you're using the refried beans already, canned refried beans, that's fine. You don't have to go through all these steps. When you start with the refried beans, you just want to go ahead and put them in a microwave safe container. You want to add a little bit of some type of liquid to them, a little chicken broth, some butter. I've used a little bit of milk before. Put all your seasonings in it and start getting them hot and letting it break down. You see how the beans are starting to get that little bit of a mushy look to them? So they're ready to go back in the microwave. I'm going to put them back in the microwave and microwave them for 2 more minutes, and then we'll be back. Okay, guys, there's 4 minutes. You see they just keep breaking down, which is what I'm looking for. It's nice to have friends that owned a Mexican restaurant, so we picked up some of the tips. Mexican food's one of my favorite things. You can go out to the Mexican places here. They usually have complimentary chips and salsa that they keep bringing to your table. I just sit and keep eating beans, rice, and chips and salsa after my main's gone. You can see now they're about halfway or just a little bit more broken down. I'm going to take the rest of my bean juice and add back into that. And we're going to start with our mozzarella cheese. I'd say I'm putting in about, I don't know, 1/8 of a cup of cheese right now. Got that down in there. Going to stir that up with the beans. Like I said, if your beans look too dry after you go through this process, you can add in a little milk, a little butter. just like you do if you were using regular refried beans. I just like using the pintos. These will look like they're turning out just a tad bit dry to me, so I'm going to put a little butter in these, and I'm going to put them back in the microwave for the final time. And then I'll show you guys what these look like. Okay guys, they're out of the microwave. I added a big tablespoon of butter to them. Like I said, they're a little dry, just like you would if you were doing a can of regular refried beans. But like I said, you can use chicken broth. You can use a little milk. I should have saved a little bit more bean juice. We realized putting the mozzarella cheese in the last time that we're out of mozzarella. That's usually what I use on these. But we have some pepper jack, so we're going to add in pepper jack. You can use any kind of a white cheese you want. Pepper jack, mozzarella, Monterey Jack cheese. You'll put a little bit down in there. Now I got my whisk. You can see the beans are all nice and mushed up good. We're going to melt that cheese down in there with that butter. Keep working it around a little bit.
They can use goat cheese if they want to be fancy, if they like the taste.
You can use goat cheese. I've had that at a few of the Mexican restaurants over years. It's got really good flavor. Sorry about that, guys. My arm got too close to the camera there.
It's better to start out with just a can of pinto beans instead of buying the refried beans because you control what goes in it.
That's right. And you control more of the flavor. There you go. All done. All we have to do is put that on a plate and melt a little cheese over it. So when the rice gets done, we'll put it all together and show you what it looks like, guys. Okay, guys. Our rice just got done. While we were waiting, my beans thickened up a little bit more, so I had to add a little bit of milk to them to get them to stay a little bit thinner. But I'm going to take a nice big heaping spoonful. There. And another one. Spread those around just a little bit. You see there's still pieces of bean in there too. It's not all smooth. That's the way I like them, just like that. And then I'm going to take a little bit of cheese. Like I said, I usually use mozzarella or Monterey, but we're out, so I'm using a little bit of pepper jack.
Pepper jack's good.
Yeah, pepper jack's one of them things that's versatile cheese. A little hot, but not too hot. I'm going to spread a little bit on there. I'm going to take this and pop it in the microwave for, 30 seconds to a minute. And let that cheese melt down. We'll be right back. There you go, guys. Our Mexican style beans and rice. Refried beans, pinto beans I turned into refried beans. Yellow rice I turned into Mexican rice. It's really simple. Like I said, while your rice is cooking, you can take the little bit of time it takes in the microwave to make the beans, and they taste just like what you're eating out and you have to pay for. What do you think?
I think they taste better.
Yeah. I hate to ever say mine tastes better than somebody else's, but we'll at least say equal to. If you guys try it, I know you'll like it. But like I said, if you try it and it's not quite what you like, tweak it a little bit. That's what life's all about, making it the way you like it.
And the best part is starting out with a can of pinto beans instead of the refried beans because you can make them your own.
You can see what you got right here. Like I said, they're not hard. They don't take that many ingredients to make all that. And you can see from the rest of the stuff sitting around on our cutting board, we're having some other Mexican stuff tonight, but that'll be in another video. So for now,
Adios, guys.
Goodbye.